of Trustless Degens. Yes, let me. Oh, 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 oh.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hello.
Yeah, we got our resident
How we
Degen, the
doing?
Infinite, up top with me. We also have on the bottom of the screen here, Bullish Satoshi, our regular host,
What's
and
going on, y'all?
Bitfiend, another one of our regular hosts. Has not been with us as much lately, but we always have him in our hearts, of course, because Bitfiend is a part of the Trustless Degens podcast. Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Thank you. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going good. Going good. Yeah, hopefully everybody else is feeling good. For anybody who's your first time tuning into the Trustless Degens, this is the podcast where we talk about all things happening on the blockchain. It could be macro, it could be crypto, it could be DeFi, NFT, whatever. It's pretty much insert buzzword here, and we're talking about it. So yeah, that's what you have to look forward to for today. I want to start things off with what do you call those? Icebreaker. They're icebreakers, but it's not a real icebreaker. I'm just going to ask you guys how you're feeling about the market. And as we've been doing lately, but Satoshi, this time you're not last. This time actually, I'm last, just like you guys, and then I go last. But we're going to start off with our resident normie, the Infinite.
Still somewhat of a perma bear. I'll keep it simple. It's just where I live, man. It's where I live.
Perma bear. That's what I need to do. Okay. Satoshi.
Damn. What?
How you feeling?
I mean, I guess I have to say perma bull now that he said perma bear now. That's how I'm feeling. That's how I'm feeling.
All right. Perma bear. And myself, I'm in between. I still feel a little bear market-ish. But I definitely feel this bull rally within the bear market. It's hard to dismiss. It's hard to dismiss. A lot of tokens have gone up hundreds of percents at this point. It's like, yeah. Bitfiend, how are thine field? Oh, you are muted, my friend.
How do I feel?
Yeah, how's your market? How do you feel about the market currently? And then hopefully the show will we'll see how you feel at the end of the show.
I mean, I've been bullish on crypto since 2013. It's going to be really hard to get me to not be bullish.
Not be bullish.
We talked about the dip, what we thought the floor was the last time I was around.
Bro, we kind of hit it.
And I said, so I have to go back in time a little bit. When Bitcoin first hit 10 grand in 2018 and went up to 19, I said the $1,000 Bitcoin has sailed forever. You'll never see $1,000 Bitcoin. I remember telling Eric Wilson that the floor I thought was about 4 grand. Any Bitcoin under 20 grand is still a good buy because it's going to go up long term. Anything under 10 grand is solid. At least that was back in 2018. And I remember saying, people were saying that Bitcoin was going to hit 8 grand and fall below 10 grand this time around. I'm surprised I saw 16 grand. But I knew 10 grand is not happening. That's gone. We're not seeing a $10,000 Bitcoin. It could go back down. I don't know if this is a little mini bull run or if this is it. If this is it, it's a little too early from what I understand, from what I know, what I've seen in the past. It's too early. But I can't stop the fact that institutional adoption has not stopped. It hasn't slowed down. The buyers of the dip were were institutions. The buyers of this, the people who were stacking Bitcoin during this dip, were the major corporations. So it's only obvious that it's going to go up. And I think this is a really good signal, if you ask me. I'm kind of mad I didn't buy more at 16 because we might not see 16 again.
True. Facts on facts on facts. All right, so our boy Bitfiend is also bullish over here. A long-term bull. Could even maybe say perma bull. Yep. He's feeling bullish. All right. So next up, I want to play this clip here from Jerome Powell, Federal Reserve Chairman. Again, it's called Federal Reserve, but it's not actually federal. Long story. Let's get in this clip from Mr. Jerome Powell. They basically control the United States monetary policy, and they're one of the strongest central banks in the world.
we expect, significant progress on inflation this year. And again, it's our job to produce it. And I want to say again, we throw these numbers around, but the reality is we're going to react to the data. So if we continue to get, for example, strong labor market reports or higher inflation reports, it may well be the case that we have to do more and raise hikes more than is priced in.
All right. So from Jerome's cryptic message there, what do you guys take from that? I want to get other people's perspective. I have my how that made me feel, but I want to know what other people got out of that.
Are we starting together, or are we just talking as a group?
You have an opinion. Say something.
Well, a little. It's not very strong,
It's all right.
'cause I'm not as deep into the market as you guys, but in general, it's like, hey, look, we're looking for a specific correction, and if we don't see the correction, we're going to continue to raise interest hikes. And that usually means pain. So, if we see the things we're looking for, expect pain. Or if we see the things we're looking for, then we'll ease. But if we don't see what we're looking for, then expect pain, is the way I take that message.
Okay. All right. Bitfiend, how does that make? What'd you get from that?
I mean, to be honest, it's hard to when I hear the Fed talking, when I hear them say anything, I just kind of
No. It's what?
I was just buy cryptos, man.
Every time Jerome Powell speaks, Bitfiend's just buying more crypto.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go buy some Matic right now after hearing that.
I felt underexposed to Matic a lot lately. I don't want to go on that tangent, but I just gotta put that out there. I just gotta release that from my body. I keep feeling underexposed to Matic, Ethereum, and GMX.
What is your
it's
problem?
Wild.
Stop feeling that way about
I don't
Matic.
know. I'm gonna start doing a daily DCA or something. That's the only way to
start
fix
buying.
it.
Start scratching that itch. Let me
I
tell
have
y'all
a bunch just chilling. But
let me tell y'all what Jerome Powell's talking about. He's upset that there's so many jobs out there. He's all these people are upset that people got jobs. They didn't expect that many jobs to be out there. What do we add? 500,000 jobs in between the last report and this one. So they're they're thinking they can probably get away with, whatever they want to do as far as raising rate hikes. All his CEO buddies, all the tech CEOs, all the banks are salivating for a recession. They really want it really bad. And they're we can't have a fucking recession with all these people with jobs and shit. How the fuck is that gonna work? So Jerome Powell's it's okay, guys. The jobs will go away later and we'll get our recession. We'll sneak our recession in later on and it'll be all good. Even though the people with jobs, people that gotta work were last year we were kind of looking like a recession around here, and they were no way, no recession. There's not a recession here. No way. And now they're all
this inflation is transitory.
They're all there's a recession coming, and we're where? We're all working. What are y'all doing? And I think they're scared about the housing market, and they're scared about they don't want to what do they call it, do their U-turn. They don't want to flip. They don't want to pivot prematurely and then have to start raising interest rates again. So I mean, that's what I'm hearing, kind of trying to read in between the lines.
Yeah. See, in my opinion, briefly, and then move on to our next section. But that's I'm more in line with what you're saying, Satoshi. I feel what Powell said at the very beginning, I feel is understated, which was he feels we're going to make significant, what do you say, advancements or significant progress on inflation. So I would imagine he just doesn't mean that in a way that it's significant progress to me is everybody suffers or something, or like it's not what we want it to happen. I imagine that means they're doing better. And he feels like, from the tone of language that he's used over the last year or so, I feel like to him doing better would mean that they are raking interest rate heights at a lower amount. I feel like he thinks that's doing better. And so if to him that's doing better, then maybe it's actually living up to when he was saying transitory before, which would be a continuation of these 0.25 rate hikes or less. I don't know how low it goes. We only used to big numbers these days. So I feel like that's more so what he was saying. And if that's the case for lessening, usually the market performs kind of bullish in response to stuff like that. So I have Jerome Powell having this hawk on him. And if you look at our cover photo for today's episode, it's an interesting one. But yeah, I feel like if that's the case, then the market acts kind of bullish because they're lessening the interest rate hikes. And yeah. So that's my take on that. Wanted to move into now away from Mr. Jerome Powell's influence into some of the top occurrences or articles of the day in the crypto world. And so, feel free again, hosts to make comments on this. But it says, number one, we have Dogecoin payment rumors swirl again after reports of Twitter Blue revenue shortcomings. Funny to be hearing that, in my opinion, today, because if you were on Twitter today, it was not the best day on Twitter. It was not the best day on any social media platform. Twitter held out the longest, though. But it seems like Instagram went down, YouTube had a spat, Facebook went down, Twitter had its issue. Like something was up on a bigger level, as much as people just want to be like, it's just Elon. That's what you get for being political. Like I feel like it was more than that, people. But maybe, I don't know, maybe it was somebody after him. Solana scores new integration with Brave browser. So that's new. Solana still doing some integrations and whatnot. Singularity Nets AGIX up 31% after announcing partnership with Cardano. So AGIX is another one of these AI tokens, I believe. And I was hearing a little bit about that over the last few days, just in terms of that being something to keep your eye on. Also, Fetch AI, I believe, did some crazy numbers. So digital bank Revolt to offer a crypto staking report. And is Bitcoin about to retest 20,000 Dolaroo?
Probably.
The
CME gap is like 20,900 to 19,400, something like that. So the meme still haunts us. So I think that it's got like a 96% accuracy on it. So probably, I wouldn't doubt that.
Time to short. So
nah, don't you say, don't, no.
Oh, my bad.
That's not what I said. Not what I said.
Oh,
it's not. Don't do that. Don't be out here 100x leveraging on fucking GMX or fucking gains or whatever the fuck you do, man. Don't do that.
Whoop, whoop. Oh man,
that Smurf is going to like Gamblers Anonymous because he's like trying to get his portfolio in order over there on GMX, man, getting liquidated and shit.
Hey, I've never been liquidated on GMX.
There's a first
Gains
time
Network though. Gains Network. It's a different beast over there. It's a different beast. So I have to get a better. It made me go and read the docs. I was like, there's something up with the spread here, bro. So one of those docs. All right. Next up, we are going to cover the market. Take a little look at the market. See how it's been doing lately. And so we're going to check out the top 10 tokens on the market. Bitcoin holding down at number one. If you haven't seen it today, it's right underneath $30,000 or $23,000. Wouldn't it be nice if it was under 30? $23,000 right underneath that. In the last 24 hours, down 1.7% and 3.5% over the last 7 days. Ethereum coming in at number two, down 2.1% over the last 24 hours and up 0.4%, 0.5% almost in the last 7 days. Tether, we don't count you. BNB down almost 2% in the last 24 hours and up 2.7%. So still up on the last 7 days.
Bruh, I don't
for
get
BNB.
BNB. Like, I don't understand why, how Binance can be like, we're canceling withdrawals for a couple weeks, but our token price is going to stay the same. What? It's like a stable coin at this point. We might as well not even mention it anymore.
It's interesting. I mean, look, I got nothing wrong with tokens that aren't too volatile and just move up with the market. You know I'm a Tron boy at heart.
I'm just saying that BNB is interesting, man. It's extra resilient. Very resilient.
Yeah, I feel that Tron is. XRP down 1.1% on the day and 4.3% on the week. So XRP is just down for XRP. But again, when the other tokens seem to go up a little bit, I feel like XRP suffers. A little inverse. We don't count that. Cardano down 2% on the day, 1.6% on the week. So suffering a little less. Dogecoin, it's getting more toward Degen altcoin as you go further down the list. Although Lido Stake Ether isn't really a Degen play. Dogecoin down 3.3. Oh, excuse me, just 3, and down 4.6 on the week. And Polygon down 0.7%. Actually, up 0.7% on the day and up 7% on the week. Again, I was telling you guys, like, I keep feeling underexposed to Polygon, and it was just $1.12, and I was like, you pumped a little bit recently though. I just bought some at like 90 something cents and 80 cents. Yeah, and so I'm like, I just bought some of you. We good. You probably gonna go back down. No, 115, 120, and it's just like flexing. It just won't stop flexing. It needs to chill. 128 right now. Like every time I look at it, it hurts. Oh,
I agree. It needs to stop.
I think that Matic is going to outperform Ethereum and Bitcoin this bull run.
You know what's interesting? Right behind that, and I don't doubt you. I think it could. I think Matic could have its Ethereum run up like when Ethereum first popped, and that could be this next bull run. But I wanted to also point out OKB right here. This is like the OKX token. I'm pretty sure, right?
I'm not sure.
I think it is. What's going on with it?
I mean, it was one of the better performing tokens over the last year. So it was one of the better performing tokens over 2022. And yeah, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be that they just keep not being too bad. It's just something to pay attention to. Saw it right there, right behind Matic. It's kind of high for a token like this. I wouldn't really expect that. So it's pointing out that that's there. You should probably not diss it. You know what I'm saying? Be word to the wise and things of that sort.
You gonna buy some?
No, probably not gonna buy any OKB. Nope. No.
It's a no for me, dog.
It's a no for me. It's an exchange. It's an exchange token, though, right? So this is the reason, though. I have reason. It's an exchange token, which I'm down with because like BNB. That's why I first like Binance Coin. However, I'm already invested in 2 different exchange tokens, and I'm looking for a third one to invest in. Those 2 different exchange tokens are Gains Network, the GNS token. Just bought some GNS. And then GMX. I've been slowly buying more GMX. Like I buy like a bag of GMX every, a little bit of GMX here or there. Not gonna hurt me. I figure, and it makes money. It makes you Ethereum and more GMX. And GMX was the best performing crypto of 2022. So, yeah, that's something to think about. Everything else was down. It was up, even at the worst time of the year, by 33%. Meow. All right. Moving into DeFi land on the sharing. DeFi land. Yeah. And we're just going by TVL rankings right here. We can also do yields, I guess. That's an interesting section to check out. You can see what tokens have the highest yield. I could be like, yeah, that one's no, you don't want to do that, or you maybe do want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I could give you that. I would do that for anybody. That's Leo. It's Leo. You don't offer financial advice here. What was he doing? Anyways, number 1 on the list is Lido, taking over from MakerDAO. We discussed this a few weeks ago, but Lido has this whole narrative that it's kind of ruling called LSDs, and we don't mean the psychedelic type. These means liquid staking derivatives. Liquid staking derivatives, and that just means that with the Shanghai upgrade to Ethereum, you will finally be able to unlock or just withdraw Ethereum that is staked in the network, so that you can earn more Ethereum. There is some portion that I believe they're getting right now from like transaction fees or whatever, but generally you just can't withdraw your Ethereum. So if you've deposited before, it's just stuck. You believed in the merge, and your Ethereum's been stuck since the merge. But with Shanghai, you're going to be able to move that. Since you're able to move all this Ethereum around, people have created these things, I guess it was created before that, but you have these things called liquid staking derivatives, which just means you exchange your token for another token. They take your token and basically put it in a large pool that's earning ETH off of the rewards, and then you're given this other token of the same value of Ethereum, which you can then use throughout DeFi. So then you can use other opportunities with that. So if you're an Ethereum staker, just to wrap this all home, if you stake Ethereum as a node, then you're earning ETH, and you can take that ETH and make it an LSD, take that LSD, throw it into some DeFi. Or if you're just a DeFi user without enough Ethereum to run a node, you can just swap into an LSD. You'll be earning Ethereum node yields, and then you can still use your stuff in other DeFi protocols. So it's a fun story. But that's why LSD or Lido is number one. And you guys will get no updates on anything else on the list of that caliber. MakerDAO hanging in number 2. They make DAI there. Curve Finance with CRV and soon to be CRV USD. That's right, their own stablecoin, hanging in at number 3. $4.9 billion, almost $5 billion TVL locked up over there on Curve. $7 billion on MakerDAO. I didn't give that before, and 8.5 on Lido. Aave at number 4. Again, it's all stable coin people or like stable projects, because you could say Lido is like a stable project too in the top tokens here, just in case anybody wasn't noticing that. So Lido basically makes a stable version of Ethereum. So it's Ethereum to Ethereum. MakerDAO does DAI, Curve does CRV, and then CRV USD. Aave has their lending and borrowing platform, and then their new Go stablecoin, which is coming out soon. Convex Finance coming in at number 5. Starts to break a little bit, but this one has to do with Curve. If you don't know it, Uniswap, one of the most popular dexes in all of crypto, right there, number 6. Just Lend, the Tron killer, yeah, over there. I'm over there, earning a little something with my BTT staking on Just Lend is kind of sexy right now, 16% APY. It ain't bad. Pancake Swap at number 8. InstaDApp, I really don't know what that is, at number 9. And then Compound Finance, whoop, shout them out, at number 10. They started this whole yield thing. So, yeah, just giving them their reps. Yeah. Are you guys active in any of the top 10? Or have you been active on any of these top 10 lately?
I've been using Uniswap to buy extremely high risk fucking shit coins. I've been using Pancake Swap to basically do the same, but also on Pancake Swap there is a IDO I'm looking at getting into tomorrow morning for Blue Move, which is a NFT platform on Aptos and Sui. So I use Pancake's bridge to bridge some cake over from BNB chain to Aptos, and it worked pretty well actually.
What, a Pancake bridge?
I'm pretty sure it's powered by Layer 0. Like, I'm pretty sure it's using Layer 0 somehow.
Nice.
Which is another interesting thing. But I think we'll leave that for a little later. But I like Pancake a lot. I think I've talked about Cake before. And I think we've also talked about Aptos before, and I told people, not to necessarily buy Aptos, which was probably bad advice. You should have just bought it because I think it's up 100. It's up some X's since then. But what I told people to do was to buy
3X.
the shit coins on Aptos, which is what I'm trying to do tomorrow.
Nice. All right, so you're back into speculative community token, meme token buying. What does this token do?
Blue Move?
Yes.
Oh, give me just a second. I will tell you exactly what it does.
What does this token do? We got okay, guys. This is where we judge our friends.
This is not a meme token. Let me go, because I was just looking before I got on here. So basically, you'll be able to vote on some of the projects that'll be on Blue Move's Launchpad for the NFTs. My bad. I'm just getting to the. If you want me to share my screen, I can.
Yeah, put it up if you ain't scared.
Let's see.
You are not scared. Share that screen.
Let's see. Oh, it's being slow. It's being slow.
Yeah. Let me see.
My camera's frozen. I don't know about you.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. We want the screen.
Does he have it, guys?
Does he?
There we go.
The guy's got it.
And okay, so if you guys are seeing my screen now, are you guys?
We are.
Yep.
Okay. So Blue Move is similar to let's say like an OpenSea or like it looks a lot like Median over on Salon. They also have a mobile app, but what it does is some of the utilities, it grants holders access to projects launching on Blue Move's Launchpad, like I said earlier, including free and discounted NFT mints, provides stakers with staking rewards derived from the platform's fees, which sounds like some real yield. Would that be real yield?
Yeah, some rewards coming from yeah. If it's coming from actual economic activity, see.
Allows the holders to participate in governance and incentivizes users to trade Blue Move or to trade on Blue Move by offering rewards for trading activity. And there's going to be some more utilities, it seems like. And then this just kind of shows you like the IFO, which is what Pancake calls their initial DEX offerings, which is just like
initial farm offering.
Yeah, so it's like you can stake some Pancake and farm. You can farm Move tokens down here, I think.
Okay, so is this Pancake's first IFO on Aptos?
It actually is. So here's the little
Gotcha.
IFO page.
So that's interesting.
I go to finished, and there are none finished.
Okay,
so this is going to be their first one.
All right, so let me ask this because I don't have. Actually, I think I can easily switch my computer, but whatever. I'm asking you. They don't have any farms active then on Aptos either yet, do they?
Like Pancake or other?
Yeah, Pancake farms.
I do not think.
Be that earn
so.
section.
Let me see farms. Well, yep, we got some farms.
Oh, they got some stuff in there. It started. Okay.
Yep. Still, there is some stuff going on. I know I have some Aptos launchers token staked. That was the first thing I
It's time for me to come over.
That was the first thing. Oh shit! What'd I do? I fucked it up. There we go.
No.
So here's something I was looking. I was wanting to try to buy an NFT over here on Blue Move, but I haven't found anything that kind of tickles my fancy yet. But some stuff over here. I really like that Pancake has moved over to Aptos because I like Pancake a lot. So that's my little shill of this very high risk thing that I'm trying to do tomorrow. I have lost a lot of money trying to buy IDOs.
I don't know about it's like I don't know how I feel about getting into I feel like because everybody's gonna dump the bag, and so I'm like, you know what?
I have a strategy.
Wait for the bag to dump.
I got a strategy for that. So I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna put in a little bit on this IDO, but keep some on the side because I do think it'll dip down. So that other launcher I was telling you about, they had they've had two launches so far. They had Aptos launcher launched. When it launched, it dipped, and people got to get in for a lot cheaper than the IDO price. And then also they did something called Able Finance, which is I think like a DEX and with like some staking and yield stuff. But it also, I think it launched at 17 cents. It dipped down to like 5 cents. It went back to 17 cents. So I agree with you. I think that I think that it'll probably be a better opportunity not to buy this IFO, but I'm just trying to cover my ass in case maybe it's a good idea. And also, like, so we'll only get 40% of the tokens initially. The rest will be like vested. Which is something that we need to teach people about what vesting is.
Yeah.
Eventually.
See, yeah, we'll have to have a vesting, especially since there's this whole new sector of DeFi, this VE everything, which is really for that vesting section of things. But you can still have liquid assets that are vested. That's this new sector that I'm kind of talking about. Been interesting in the pond of the DeFi world. Let me see what we got up next. Oh, is it time for him? Yes. Okay. Next up, we have a clip from the man, the myth, the legend, Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio. Now, I will preface this by saying it's not the exact clip that I want. It's part of the interview that he had. If you can find the full interview, I mean, I would watch it. I would watch the full interview if I was you. Who is Ray Dalio? Ray Dalio is one of America's most prolific investors. He's one of the most successful hedge fund managers, investors in the world. Period. Look him up. You're going to find that information about Mr. Ray Dalio. And so, yeah, when people like Ray Dalio speak, you kind of want to, actually just tells you how markets are moving and stuff like that in his own way. If you can listen to what he's saying. And so he's got his own opinion on the things that he invests in and whatever, but actually has some pretty insightful opinions of things, or just the things that he says. So this is a clip. It's not the clip that I wanted from Ray Dalio. There's another clip, a part of this interview, where he's speaking about the future of cryptocurrency and the future of the United States dollar. And I'll sum that up for you. You can find that on Altcoin Daily's channel, actually, if you look up Ray Dalio over there. But I'll sum that up for you. What he said at the end of that is just basically, like, it's really hard to find this clip online. I'm like, I bet they made it hard to find. He's like, yeah, the dollar and currency is soon to be like disappear like that as we know it, and soon to change like as we know it. It's in real turmoil, this and that, and blah 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 blah. This stuff's going to change. So he says that in this interview with CNBC, and then they're asking him about crypto and stuff, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't think Bitcoin is it, but." And he didn't think Ethereum is it or whatever. He said he felt like it would be some type of currency that would account for inflation, like a inflationary monetary policy, which I'm like, honestly, that doesn't sound like that wouldn't necessarily be Ethereum, but whatever. No, you're not all you're just making these statements on what you think would work. But it was a situation of him pointing out that he does think blockchain technology is something that could work for the future, and also that whatchamacallit, the cryptocurrency in general was something that could work for the future. And so, yeah. We'll play this. Actually, right before we play Mr. Ray, there's one other quick clip I'm going to play. Come back-to-back education sessions. I used to do a whole series like this with just video clips. But this is actually Jamie Dimon. We forgot the Jamie clip earlier. We forgot Jamie. We got Powell, but we forgot Jamie. This is a clip of Jamie Dimon, which I think is a great segment into the next clip. So that's why I wanted to play both of these. And so, I'll let Jamie speak for himself.
He mentioned Bitcoin. You said you didn't know what we were talking about. We pretty much always have some crypto conversation with you. I'm just curious because I don't think we've talked to you since.
I think all that's been a waste of time, and why you guys waste any breath on it is totally beyond me.
Because you just think the whole thing just is
going to zero.
Going to zero and it's fake.
Bitcoin itself is a hyped up fraud. It's a pet rock.
You're back to that,
yeah,
really?
Of course, yeah.
So what do you make then of BlackRock and other firms that are investing in infrastructure?
No, that's different. Blockchain is a technology ledger system that we use to move information. We've used it to do overnight repo, intraday repo. We've used it to move money.
Right.
So that is a ledger. That's a technology ledger type of thing that we think will be deployable. But remember, we've been talking about that for 12 years too, and very little's been done.
There's some tokens that I agree with you on, but Bitcoin's based on a distributed ledger. Yeah, but it has all the characteristics of a store of value. It's immutable. It's scarce.
Totally untrue. It's
21 million.
Well, yeah, really. How do you know it's going to stop at 21 million?
Because
I've mentioned this to people
Satoshi,
too. Everyone says that. Well, maybe it's going to get to 21 million, and Satoshi's picture is going to come up and laugh at you all and say, no.
There isn't a picture.
And by then, Satoshi will have taken out billions of dollars.
Oh my goodness, yeah. That was Jamie Dimon talking about Cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. I feel like a good takeaway before I go around. I want everybody's opinion on this. But one of the takeaways that I thought about this was, he mentioned that he did feel like blockchain technology was the future in this clip. And so I mentioned that Ray Dalio also said the cryptocurrency blockchain technology was the future during his clip. And so then you have Jamie Dimon over here being like, well, wait. I don't like Bitcoin. I just like the technology that Bitcoin created. Like, oh, okay. Oh, so you don't like it, but you like what it is. You like it though. Okay. All right. Before I don't want to give any other opinion on this before going on to you guys. Infinite. Yeah. What's your take, Mr. Diamond?
That was clearly like, okay, like everything you just said afterwards definitely encompasses kind of what it stands for and what it is. And to me, that was somebody that was like, I don't like the brand of cryptocurrency. I don't like the way it makes me feel. I don't like the way people talk about it. I don't like the way it gives me the ickies, but the technology is sound. And that's kind of how I would take that. It obviously it's kind of laughable. And, if you're listening, you should kind of do
I don't like Kroger brand raisins.
I just like raisins. Yeah. And you're like, they are raisins. And he's like,
it's the same thing.
I don't know about that. And you're like, all right. So it's kind of like a brand thing. And he clearly doesn't like the energy behind the brand. And that's kind of how I take that. Is that wise? Probably not. It's just, okay, yeah, you should be able to see through the veneer, but if the veneer, like beyond, if you go in the back and it's everything you thought it was supposed to be, then,
Yeah.
Just say you don't like the color red. And it's like, we'll accept that, but don't, I don't like the color red. And then you have a bunch of red on. And you're kind of like, this is a different kind of red. And you're kind of
no, actually, we use this stuff. We actually, yeah. All right.
That's it.
Satoshi, what's your anything else to say to that? Anything else to add to that, or different varying opinions?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he made himself sound like a jackass, and I think they're trying to manipulate the people who don't know much about Bitcoin into continuing to be late to the party. And I mean, I'm pretty sure they have Bitcoin. Pretty sure
right?
JP Morgan has Bitcoin, probably on their balance sheet. So it's probably pretty valuable to be able to go on TV and tell people not to buy that shit and wait for the price to go down a little bit so you can buy more of it. But maybe that's just my my brain trying to tell me everything will be okay.
All right. Did you get to catch any of that Bitfiend? You're muted.
Oh, you're muted,
friend. You're muted. If you were answering me.
No, I missed a good portion of that because I got a call that I had to walk away.
All good. It's just Jamie Dimon being Jamie Dimon. That's what we can call it at this point. What was the other thing that he mentioned that I wanted to? Oh, the last thing that I thought that he said that was kind of laughable to me. It's like, did you have an unlimited amount of resources? How can you say that? I just feel like if I had an unlimited amount of resources, like somebody like Jamie Dimon, and I had questions about Bitcoin, like realistically as an investor, like want to understand like why, like it's like everybody's like you own a store, you sell clothing, and everybody starts wearing skinny jeans. And you're like, I don't like them. Like, doesn't matter, bro. Put them on the shelves. Like, but people act like that. And so it's that type of situation right here. But if you have unlimited resources, you could just hire somebody and be like, yeah, go check out the market. How's the, cut up some of those skinny jeans so I can see what they look like. You would test things out with your money and be able to supply the market correctly. So I'm like, how are you not testing things out with your money and being able to? But he is actually. They are servicing the market. But the thing that he said at the end there with like, oh, how do I know it's 21 million? How do I know it doesn't reach that number? And then Satoshi pops out and laughs in your face or whatever the heck. And it's an image. And I'm like, because it's code, bro. Because it's open source code. Because people can create it right now and speed it up. They can speed up the process or eliminate some numbers, and it works. It just works because it's open source code. Anybody can run it. It's not hard to figure out. Like, you need people that can read code. Like, you don't have any of those that work at Bank of America. Get out of here, bro. Like that was the biggest like laughing. I'm sure some people that's enough to just convince them though. They're like, how do I know? Because it's open source, fam. It's open source. Like that's not confusing for developers. If it's actually open source, and you can read, then there's no confusion. You know what it's going to do. Like they're not guessing that it's like, oh, how did they figure out that it was going to be 21 million Bitcoin? Satoshi must have told them, or they looked at the open source code and figured it out. Because people have been
most people don't understand open source because you can still change it, and so the issue that a lot of people have is because it can be changed, then it's who are the people behind changing it? Who are the people behind these changes? And they can just go in and change it. And then it's like, well, no, you can't just change it. There has to be a huge
you need a big consensus for this to happen.
Consensus that everyone comes to an agreement on what needs to be changed. And then it's like, yeah, but the person that changes it can put a little back door in there, sneak it in. And it's like, no, because it's open source.
Yeah, everybody can see it. Everybody can see it the
entire
time.
At what he's doing.
You're like, oh no, like because we looked into it. No, take this back. We'll keep using this other fork. We'll keep using other
the guy from the Bitcoin Foundation decided to sneak a backdoor in the update. You'll be able to see it, and then be like, "Hey, red flag right here. What is this? What are you doing, bro?"
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was hilarious that he tried to make that type of, and I'm like, "There's no way you don't know this, Jamie. Really? Like for him to be like, yeah, how do we know this doesn't happen at the end? Like no, because that's 21 million. Unless there's unless you know ahead of time, in which case go ahead and move your bags at that time. But if that's your only argument, because you know before it goes through, you know when the proposal is being brought up, you know that there's even a chance, and maybe you want to transfer your bags then. But until then, that's all there is, and it would need such a large vote to. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Somebody needs to somehow get all the other Bitcoins in the world and convince these people. It's just yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. So yeah, just thought, Mr. Diamond. Okay. So that was a good prequel to Ray Dalio. And I wouldn't call Jamie a prolific investor. Jamie owns Bank of America. Jamie Dimon's family's rich. Jamie Dimon's rich. I'm sure he's an intelligent person and does all sorts of great stuff for finance. I'm not shaking
pretty
that.
Sure
but
Jamie Dimon is CEO of JP Morgan Chase, isn't he?
Is it Chase?
I don't think it's Bank of America.
Isn't it? Okay.
Or maybe it's I think it's JP Morgan.
Let's correct ourselves. You are right, it's Chase.
I also love how the old buddy in the corner, his name is Joe, the guy who was trying to tell Jamie Dimon the shit that he already knew. It's just like, bro, you don't get you haven't been briefed on Bitcoin yet. Your people haven't told you this shit yet.
He knows.
Y'all
he knows what he's doing.
Y'all are mad annoying on here, acting like y'all don't know what's going on.
He knows. This is why he starts let me make a joke about this, and I'll confuse everybody in America. You're not used to reading. Yeah, that's really.
I feel like it's more that they don't really give a shit. Well, I feel it's more like JB Diamond doesn't really give a shit that the supply is fixed, because he'd probably rather it be infinite so that he can just infinitely I don't know, infinite. I don't know.
Well,
some way for him to manipulate it infinitely.
There's no way he's using blockchain technology for his company, talking about ledgers, and doesn't know how you change the number on the bill. I can't even. Anyway, we gotta move on to Mr. Dalio. Move on to Mr. Ray Dalio. So again, it's not the Ray clip that I wanted, but it's still an interesting clip talking about the market in a more macro sense. I really like that Ray talks about the market in a macro sense. So strap in. Here is Ray Dalio.
Welcome back to Squawk Box. We are joined by a very special guest this morning. Ray Dalio is at the table. Founder of Bridgewater is here. He joins us for an exclusive interview. And for the first time since he stepped down as co-CIO this fall, we should talk about that as well. But a lot to talk to you about. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
So help us try to understand what's happening. We always talk about the economic machine. We've got the Federal Reserve as part of that machine of sorts, at least trying to assess what that machine is going to do. You saw what Jay Powell said yesterday. I think we're all trying to make sense of where we really are.
Okay, well, I mean, these things happen over and over again. We're now in the 12th and a half cycle. You know, these cycles, you know how the cycles work. You're 12 and a half cycles since 1945. 1945 was the New World Order, you know, new monetary system. And you know what happens. So let me take you through it quickly. You get a funky economy, weakness, and so on. So what we had, of course, in 2020 with the combination of COVID, and then also the move from the right to the left. There was a distribution of wealth. And so how did you do that? The government had to send out a bunch of checks.
Yep.
And the Federal Reserve, where did the government get the money from? The Federal Reserve lent it. So we have an imbalance. And of course, that put a lot of money in the system. You've got the demand, you've got the cycle, classic cycle, right? Stimulation, credit becomes debt, then you have inflation, then you have a tightness of monetary policy. And so where are we? So we now in a classic spot where we've got a relatively high real interest rate. Real interest rates went from minus 175 basis points to plus 175 basis points, right? You've got a cash rate that's relatively high. Cash used to be trashy. Cash is pretty attractive now. You've got an inverted yield.
Say that again. You said trash is now more attractive? Cash is trash, is what you used to say.
Yes, cash was negative,
right?
1.5%, 2% real rates, terrible. Now cash is relatively attractive.
Right.
So it's attractive in relation to bonds. It's actually attractive in relation to stocks. You have the classic movement, of course, as rates go up and money becomes tight. You lose the parts of the economy, the parts of the market that are the bubble parts that needed the cash flow, right?
Right.
So you're seeing it reflected in not only, long duration stocks, those that didn't have cash. So you see the tech stocks come down, all of that come down. You see private equity, you see venture capital because they needed cash. All of that comes down. And then, so you're seeing a very, 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 very classic that we've seen these things for 12, halfway through a 12 or 13th cycle, right? But what's also happening in that cycle, since 1945, is that we then have the accumulation of a lot of debt and money. Okay, so we deal with things like the debt ceiling. Does the debt ceiling matter? Does it matter how much debt we have? And then you have a situation where there's used to be a free market supply demand, but now you've got the Federal Reserve who is now taking it, buying it on the balance sheet, so it's not the supply demand. So you've got that dynamic very, very classically going. I don't think people are paying enough attention to the big cycle. There are these short-term cycles. Since World War II, they've averaged about 6 or 7 years, plus or minus about 3 years. That's what we're in a classic one of those. But we keep building up the debt. And then there are issues in terms of the issue of the dollar and what's happening in terms of the world and the value of money.
Welcome back to Squawk Box. We are joined by a
My bad, had to hide that guy. Mr. Ray Dalio and his macro perspective of things. Yeah. Ray thinks money's in trouble. Ray thinks we're halfway through a cycle, as he says. Yeah, I don't know.
He was talking about the debt, which is what I thought was interesting. Is I've been seeing a lot of headlines about how U.S. credit card debt is all-time high right now. Just by searching, real quick, looks like it's at
You remember how he said we get there? Not sure if you remember how he said we get there. We get there from stimulus. He's like, they do stimulus. You give all these people this money, the credit, and then the credit that they get because you gave them all this money becomes debt. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's the debt credit world is a little different for me. It's interesting how people use their debt and their credit to buy stuff.
Yeah. See you tweaking and turning, Infinite.
Well, it's a little spooky, I mean, in a lot of ways, he's like, okay, we've seen this play before. We've seen kind of how this works. Generally speaking, we have a scenario. We have cycles. There are patterns. This is our 13th pattern, of like boom and bust kind of, and this is kind of how the game works. So, like I hear, hey, the boom's coming, which is kind of generally, why I'm kind of like perma bearish. Just I think there's supposed to be a correction, and he might be talking about the levers that make it go this way and that way, and so like I kind of wish I would have saw the clip that you were talking about, because I feel like there's some context missing a little bit.
Let me mention one thing within that, which is just that, like, if he's talking about a lever that's moving, a lever that's going to move, and like change the direction that the market is currently going, right? He also said that currently cash is king. Cash used to be trash. Cash is king. So what happens if he changes I guess it depends on what part of the market that you care about. Personally, like fiat money, as it was described, like for creation, is made to pay off taxes. It's not really something you're supposed to hold and like supposed to have value for you like that. You use it to buy things, and it's supposed to help you pay taxes. That's what it's made for. Like assets are what retain like value over like a long period of time. And so I'm like, it's more so like, if you get upset when the United States, dollar, like as an investor or as somebody who wants to have more things in general, if you get upset when the United States dollar is losing its value, it's kind of like the United States people are always like, yeah, I want to go down to Mexico where things are cheap. It's like, this is the same thing happening. It happens here. Like he's talking about. It happens here in periods. It happens here in cycles, like you're saying. And right now, things are more expensive. But it's about to be, it's about to be time to take those maracas. That's what I'm getting from that.
Yeah, I don't know. I got kind of, it seemed kind of scary what he was saying to me, but I really didn't, I don't know. Like even me, it was kind of going over my head. Like he was talking about a bunch of different things.
Yeah, because he made like an analogy. It was hard to like process potentially because he started and he's like, okay, we're going to talk about when the monetary policy changed, and basically he tried to compare today's market to the market back then, and basically a history timeline of like what happened in the United States that kind of influenced certain things. So he talks about like the right going to the left then, and then he in how then the government needed to put out more things, and then he talks about current stimulus and being like the same as that. And yeah, it was it was a lot happening. There was a lot happening. I was like, okay, all right.
I think the part that's spooky is like it kind of felt like he said the quiet thing loud, in a sense, and like they kind of let him speak, and I was kind of like, I
was just like, bro, he just went in.
Yeah, they literally let him walk through the whole thing, and it was just kind of like, I think the part where it feels like it might go over your head a little bit is like you can't really time it, in my personal opinion. It's going to happen, and when it happens, and that's kind of why I feel like it's so airy in a lot of ways, to where it's like, look, this is a part of a cycle, we're in it, and it is what it is, kind of thing, and it's like, take that for what it's worth. These things come and go, and some people come out on top, some people don't, and I was kind of curious about, like, what did you think about the part where
negative 175 and now we're up 1.75?
What do you think about the part where he talked about the wealth transfer, just kind of like how the money ended up in a bunch of hands, because of the scenario? Like that part was weird to me, to where like, I kind of don't know why it fit in that situation.
I mean, scenario. I think it makes sense though, and it's happening. We were watching it happen, and it's happening, and I think that's to like at least that's to my point of like the assets. Like a lot of people got the money and they just spent it like like I said, well, I don't want the fiat because what it's for two things. It's for paying taxes and buying things. And like if you don't buy things that like actually matter, like an actual asset like that, like for real, then like what's it for? Like you could buy something, you could, if we were all taught correctly, by the time we were like, 30 or whatever the heck, we'd probably have our rent paid for by our assets if we were all taught correctly. Like from like 16 or 16 to 18. By the time we're in our 30s, it would be like normal for Americans to have like their rent or like half of it at least paid for by your investments. but like we don't teach that type of stuff. And so I think that's the same thing as like this wealth transfer. Honestly, it's like we got that big stimulus, and like I said before, a lot of people use it with credit. Build up that credit, aka maybe you buy these things or you get a lot of people like invested in real estate at the wrong time. But you do something where you put yourself out there, extended. You go long, you leveraged up, and then now you owe a bunch of money, and so now they got you.
They fucking leveraged their stimulus basically. Like that's what's going on.
I mean, like
they leverage traded their stimulus, and
it's like not money that they normally had, and so they didn't normally have that, and it's like that's not something you would normally do.
They leverage traded with their stimulus. Bought an overpriced house, and now the fucking price of the house is dropping drastically. That's wild.
And it's not just the house situation.
That's the
easiest one. That's the easiest one to like get.
That's just an example, but like all these assets, like cars. I bought a car over over that bubble where cars were going up. Everything was inflated, and now it's kind of trickling down to our commodities and our food and stuff like that. Like, so it's interesting, but yeah, I didn't really think about it that way. That that when you give people money, they're gonna fucking leverage it and use it to borrow more money, and that possibly, most likely, not go well for people's debt.
Yeah, now you got to pay it back for that much longer because you don't normally have that much to leverage up.
Yeah,
you have way more to leverage up this time. You owe that much longer. Yeah, that's how I see that.
I wish you would have played the clip where he said some shit about Bitcoin, so I could.
Here, I'll play it for you in this way. All right. Because this is. Because every individual wants. It's an altcoin daily clip, right? But let me put it. Now, if you put it in Bitcoin, it goes like this. Okay, American billionaire Ray Dalio just went on CNBC. Oh my God, this person basically just took their whole thing. Part of that disgusting. But the money has two words. You cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and what I've pretty much. Can you basically hear him? Always been. I think it's a little bit, quite amazing that for 12 years it's accomplished it. But I think it has no relation to anything. Okay, in other words, it moves. It has no relation. It's a tiny thing. It's a disproportionate debt. Where did has anything changed for you? Yeah, just everybody. Well, let me state what I believe about crypto with. Ray be going in. And what I've pretty much always been. I think it's been quite amazing that for 12 years it's accomplished it. But I think it has no relation to anything. Okay, in other words, it moves. It has no relation. It's a tiny thing that gets a disproportionate attention. The value of Bitcoin is less than a third of the value of Microsoft stock. You could go into industries, biotech and many other industries are more interested in Bitcoin. It's not going to be an effective money. It's not an effective store of wealth. It's not an effective medium of exchange. But we are in a world in which money as we know it is in jeopardy, right? We're printing too much, and it's not just the United States, all the reserve currencies, what's going on in Euroland, what's going on in yen. And so in that world, the question is, what is money and how's that going to operate? So when we look at something like China's renminbi, and then you take the digital renminbi, I think you're going to see that become more and more a thing. So when things start to open up in an evolutionary way, people are going to start to say, where is my safe storehold of wealth? And as you have China denominate more of its trade in renminbi, then naturally those who are going to hold renminbi, if Saudi Arabia sells oil in renminbi and then buys things from China in renminbi, when they get it, we get it, Ray. I think money.
Yeah, I think we get it.
You don't go to the other part though.
So
go ahead.
I will say that I feel like he said some things that were on point and some things that were kind of out there. What he said about Bitcoin being tiny, like the market cap of Bitcoin is as compared to other stocks and shit, like Well, actually, the market cap of
Hold
Bitcoin.
up. Wait, can I interrupt you really quickly?
Yeah.
This is the part that I really want you guys to hear.
Do something different. I don't think that the stable coins are good because then you're getting a fiat currency again. I think that what would be best is an inflation-linked coin.
Right.
In other words, something where basically you would say, okay, this is going to give me buying power, because every individual wants. What do they want? They want to secure their buying power. If you want to save. Now, if you put it in Bitcoin, it goes like this. Who knows what happens? If you put it into something, the closest thing to that is an inflation index bond and so on. But if you created a coin that says, okay, this is buying power that I know I could save in and put my money in over a period of time, and then I can transact in anywhere, I think that would be a good coin. But
I'll stop you right there, right? So Ray's actually in favor of tokens. He just doesn't like the current tokens that he's got the option of holding. Maybe it doesn't come down to his opinion, what he gets.
Yeah, sounds like he's ready to show some shit coins. He's made all of his money with Bitcoin already. He's like, I'm moving on to the riskier shit. So some things about the market cap of Bitcoin. So the market cap of Bitcoin is $435 billion. The market cap of JP Morgan Chase is 418 billion. So Bitcoin is beating JP Morgan Chase, but the market cap of Apple is 2.4 trillion dollars. So I'd say something like Apple's probably got like one of the biggest market caps on the stock market. But Bitcoin is kind of tiny compared to that.
Fair enough. All
right. I think that let's see, it's not really correlated. Well, it's been kind of correlated. It's been running with the stock market lately, but it didn't used to do that. It used to be like uncorrelated from the stock market. I think he's wrong about the tech. I think he's wrong about like it not being a store of value or it not being like a form of payment. Like it's obvious that we can use it as a form of payment if we want to, and it's been probably the best store of value in the last decade, I'd say. So I mean, maybe you want some more data on that. If you're a less risky person. So I mean, I feel like it was an interesting comment.
Yeah. Anything from you, Ben or Evan, before you move on?
I don't want you guys to jump down my throat, but I do somewhat feel the way he does. Not to say that Bitcoin doesn't have any value or anything like that, but just to say that it as like a country's currency, based off of like the economic things that I did learn in school and the economic people that I had listened to, that are generally teachers, it kind of seems like it wouldn't be the best form of currency. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't have value. That's where I would disagree. I
mean, it's very similar to why like most people Bitcoin is considered like digital gold.
Right.
This is the most basic thing. And like, okay, well, is gold the option? Is the gold standard the option? And people are like, oh, it has its issues. And it's like, okay, well, but gold is still a store of value though, right? Okay, so we solved this pretty quickly then.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm not gonna say it has no value and that it has no practical application, but it does. He did bring up something that we talked about. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, to where I was like, kind of like when we were talking about the bullish versus the bears and why I felt bear, just because I felt like we're in need of this correction. At least that's what the sentiment seems to be. And like I get that everything's rallying, but when I'm like, oh, well, it seems like there needs to be a correction, though. There's like some things going wrong. We were talking about the debt ceiling then and how it kind of constantly creates this like bad situation to where it's like you can't keep borrowing money. We have these real big issues that need to be corrected. And, if we don't change course now, like we're going to crash and burn because this can't go on forever. And so it becomes this weird thing to where, when you guys are like, nah, it's going to rally, it's going to go up, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, okay, well, what is the thing that makes it go up and down? And I thought that part was interesting too, to where like, kind of don't know, other than people's belief in it. But there, yeah, that's about it.
An interesting idea that I had real quick is that, you know, like the way I think of these people like Ray Dalio and Jamie Dimon kind of telling us that Bitcoin is worthless, is kind of how I think about like the ruble or the yuan. I'm like, that's worthless to me because I don't have to use it. I don't have to transact in it. I don't need to think about it at all. So I think that it's bullshit. Like, it doesn't exist to me. It's imaginary.
You try to hand that to me, I'm gonna say no.
I don't say I can't use this fucking ruble to buy anything. I can't use this yuan to buy anything, so it's useless to me. But when I think of Bitcoin, I think of it as like kind of like eventually it'll be like the native currency of the internet, which is kind of like a country to me. Like the internet is its own little like country, and the people on it, you know, even though, you know, not everyone on the internet uses Bitcoin, but you can use it to pay for things.
You need something on international waters. Like, there needs
Don't
to
fucking buy anything illegal, Smurf. No.
Nah, come on. Why are we gonna take it all negative? It's just like, yeah, but I'm on board with what you're saying. Like that's exactly how I see Bitcoin. When people say things like that, like, well, what about if all countries ban it? I'm like, well, then you no longer interact with that country when you're using it. Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? Like, and if on a peer-to-peer level,
country,
like, and if you know other peers that are going to use it, then like there's really like, the people be like, oh, well, how do you get it out? What about if they ban it? Then how do you get it off the chain? There's like, you wouldn't want to. That's it. Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? Why would you want to move it off the chain when you're sending it to other people to pay for things? That doesn't make sense. It's like, oh, well, what do you do about your debit card? Like, it still transfers digital currency? What do you mean, fam? Like, yeah, I'm not trying to just like, oh, now you can't switch your debit card into cash, but you can still use it. Well, don't that hurt? It's just like, it's really it's such a bad argument where I'm like, you're not looking, like, I get where they're coming from with that argument. I'm like, oh, what if you can't switch it to fiat? I'm like, I get it, but you're looking too small of a picture. Like, you're not seeing the whole picture and what other people are imagining, where they're imagining this digital like nation state. They're imagining a currency that you peer-to-peer interact with. That's how it starts. You interact peer-to-peer. Forget fiat. Like, fiat going away. Ray Dalio a second ago, fiat going, it's in jeopardy were his exact words. Like, it's in jeopardy. I'm like,
that's the thing that is amazing to me, is that like most of these people, yeah, they have a lot of money. Sure, I know they have a lot of money, but most of their net worth is not in dollars. It's not like they're holding cash because they think it's gonna hold the value of what they have, or they think it's gonna make them some more value. No, they're buying other assets. They're investors. The reason why they're so rich is because they bought other assets to make more money.
Yeah, liquidate like, my assets, and then I have cash.
Yeah,
but I'm always making money with my assets, and so all you're gonna do is liquidate me into cash. Like,
it's like they're not being genuine about that type of thing. But I digress.
Yeah. It is an interesting world. All right,
I think there's a misconception of being cash rich. There's too much focus on it, where people that actually have money or wealth, they have assets.
Yeah.
Especially once you get over like $250,000 or more. You know, if you hold $1 million, you're holding, or you're losing like $40,000 to $120,000 worth of purchasing power every year.
So
you don't want to hold cash.
That shit. Hey,
cash is temporary. That's
yeah.
And then cash is temporary. That's your spendable
like
money.
You just losing salaries, bro. Like, you just like,
yeah, like
I could employ somebody.
Sure, you could hold $100 or $1,000, and it really won't make a difference. But once you start getting into the millions, if you don't hold assets over cash, you're gonna get fucked.
You're gonna get wrecked.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it makes, you breaking it down that way really makes it make that much more sense to me, honestly. Because I'm like, and I already, obviously, I'm already about this.
I remember.
But I'm like, honestly, you could employ somebody for that. Like, that's why there's so many entrepreneurs, especially at this point. They're like, I might as well have a personal assistant.
I remember having my boss telling me to cash my cryptos out, and I'm like, why do you want me to turn my cryptos and trade them for depreciating or inflationary asset like cash. I looked at it and I said, "You're not doing that with your cash. You're buying concrete equipment.
Yeah,
You
whatever you
bought
can get your
land. Like
hands
you're
on.
buying assets." And he's like, "Damn, you have a point." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, then."
Yeah, you getting stuff that makes you more money. And I get
Silver and gold too. I mean,
silver's different levels, man.
silver's the oldest currency known. Like Roman soldiers were paid in silver for their monthly wages.
We got silver, the Romans, the Vikings. Yeah, silver's that move. And apparently, most people would say it's undervalued currently. All right. Well, before we return to any last banter we have, I want to switch the atmosphere, the topic a little bit. We're gonna bring up another article here. It's a fun one. I mean, my fun because it's talking GameFi. I don't. Do you say is it GameFi? GameFi.
It's got to be GameFi.
No, don't do this, man. It's GameFi. Come on, man.
You want to say GameFi?
Come on, man.
Include gambling.
Come on, man.
GameFi. All right, so it says top 5 GameFi projects to play and earn this week. So you can actually play all these games. And they started off and like, is this first one really a game?
Splinterlands. I see Splinterland.
Stop skipping ahead. First up, we have to talk about Steppin'.
Sorry.
All right, so first up is Steppin'. It's the most popular move to earn blockchain game. So yeah, this one had its heyday on Solana, I believe, is its native platform. And Solana went the way of it says currently the floor is 13.95 Sol, which is not very cheap to play.
It's
actually.
like $4.
That's okay. That's not true.
No, I'm just playing. I don't know.
That's like
I was gonna say I'm gonna hop in right now. If it's
right.
$4.
Yeah, if it was honestly that was the thing to buy when the market went down. I guess.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you
got in on the low.
exactly how much that is, though. Give me just a second.
Isn't that over $100?
You said
Yeah, I was
13 point.
Yeah, how much is one Sol now?
Shit.
I was staking for
$2.
GMT on PancakeSwap before it blew up.
You're looking at about $100 for a nice Steppin' NFT.
Yeah, so I don't know why they put this one on the list. I guess they their point was games you can play now, but this is if you want to put down a system on it. And I don't know about that. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Definitely not free to play. Definitely not free to play. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and ask them if Stefan paid them to get into this one.
All right, how many stars is this one getting? I'm giving it 1 star.
Yeah, I don't know about the Steppin' one, man. I don't know about that one, man. But anyway,
all right.
I'm glad we got to talk about it anyway, though.
Yeah, it was there, and we got to talk about Solana and how it's doing great things. Number 2 on the list is DeFi Kingdoms. I have a tab that's been open on my computer. I just closed it today because YouTube was acting up, and I was like, I'm blaming you, DeFi Kingdoms tab, which I do on occasion. But I've been looking to get back into DeFi Kingdoms. I've been staking in that game since spring 2022, and similar to my Axie wallet, it's just over there staking. I need to see how many assets have accrued in these wallets. Cause I can probably buy almost anything I want in that game and start playing the game. I'm sure I have enough assets
over there, man.
I don't think it's gonna be dust though. I don't think it's gonna be dust though.
Not no more. It used to be dust, but now it ain't.
Yeah, the DeFi Kingdom was
off. That's what I meant. You got dusted off.
Oh yeah. Get it back and play. But yeah, I'm interested to see what I got there so I can get into DeFi Kingdoms. Is anybody else familiar with DeFi Kingdoms at all?
I actually dabbled in DeFi Kingdoms. I think I bought some Jewel and tried to stake it when they was getting ready to move over to Avalanche.
Yes, on Avalanche. Yes. Crystal Veil.
I ain't gonna lie. I shielded some Jewel there when it was low, and it started when they started talking about moving over to Arbitrum, and I was like, it's probably a good opportunity to speculate on Jewel. And I think I don't think that I really missed. I bought a little bit just to play with it, but I know some other people that really.
Gotcha.
As soon as it got on Avalanche, the APY was stupid, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was
crazy.
to the liquidity really came in. It was just going to be crazy high. But all right. So you just like a jewel holder.
I think I sold it since then.
Jewel holder, swing trader. Got you. The Infinite. Any familiarity with DeFi Kingdoms?
No, sir.
All right. That's cool. We expected that. And you, Monsieur Bitfiend?
No, sir. I don't know anything about it. I've heard about it, but I never got into it. I know I looked into it, but it just seemed like a glorified swap or a glorified exchange backed behind weird NFT gameplay or something.
Got you. I do say this is what I will say about DeFi Kingdoms after everybody I think DeFi Kingdoms has an incredible amount of potential. The way that they do lore and their stories and stuff like that is great. The community of like nerdy folks that like stuff like Dungeons and Dragons and crap that like find their way to DeFi Kingdoms is great because that helps with the lore and like community that actually cares about serving some type of story. When I found it, it was very much this whole Dex vibe and stuff too. But then I learned that that's really just because they're working on actually building up like that total economy. So you have Jewel, you fish and do all this crazy stuff in the game, and then it has like banking mechanisms and stuff like that with it that actually work. And it is currently it's in the phase of development. I've watched it go from the phase of development of like no battle at all to Axie in like 2020, or is it like was that 2019? Like when Axie was battle roller, I think that's like 2020, maybe 2018, 2019, when Axie was just like straight up like you just choose stuff and like nothing really happens, and then you won. But it feels like that early to me on DeFi Kingdoms. So I think it has a lot of potential. I'm excited to see where it goes in the future, getting past the auto roller stage of things. Whenever they get on a new chain, it opens up a new realm to them, which I thought was a really cool way of expanding your universe. So there's Crystal Vale and there's Sarandel right now. And if they go to another chain, there'll be another name for it. And you transfer between these different realms. They all look different. They have different stories, characters, and stuff like that. So it's whatever. All right, Splinterlands. I feel like everybody here knows about Splinterlands. Still staked over in Splinterlands too. I like these blockchain games. I'm over here staked, bro. I need to go see how that's doing. I left like at least $100 like staked like over a year ago. Just like we'll just see what happens. I don't know. I've
got like over 50,000 SPS staked right now. It's not much, but
it ain't much. But that farming meme right here.
But it's honest work.
Yeah, that's like straight up.
But it's not. It is honest work. Goddamn right.
Hey, I feel it. That's me on my BTT right now, man. I'm like, you know what? I look at it. I'm like, it's $5 right there. I'm like, it ain't much, but it's more than the bank's gonna give me. That's for sure. They bank ain't gonna give me that quickly either. No way.
I heard some wild shit today, yo. Like, the SEC is like trying to like cancel staking. So
they would.
So funny, man. I'm just laughing like y'all. You cannot like you can tell Coinbase
they're trying to cancel staking.
They're trying to make it to where either Americans can't stake or they want to make it to where they write laws against staking because Gary Gensler's been trying to save his ass and go around talk to these banks, ask them what they want to do, and the banks are upset that crypto is offering more than like 3% staking to people because the banks are the only people who get to borrow your assets and give you shitty returns on them. And now, like, the SEC is like, this staking shit is terrible, and we can't let regular people make yields more than us. We can't let these fucking degens get 15% yield on their BTT. That is not what we want to happen. Give us your dollar so we can buy Tesla, and
it'd probably be pretty high actually if I like leveraged it up. Honestly, it's gonna be like a really nice APY, 16%.
Yeah, and they don't want you to do that. They're like, no, you can't make 15% on $1,000 because that hurts us. That makes our feelings. That hurts our feelings.
It does because they'd be trying to put 10,000 on this account to get a penny. Really is how much I lost? Like, yeah, man, it really is lost. But okay. We'll save that rabbit hole. Next up game, Axie Infinity. And we didn't really go into Splinterlands too much again because everybody kind of knows Splinterlands. Trading card game. It is one of these auto roller type of trading card games. You do have to you choose the cards ahead of time, ahead of battle, and then it battle with the cards that you deal it. So again, somewhat of the auto rolling feel, but it's got it's got tournaments, it's got PvP, it's got guild systems built into it. It's got its own staking. It's got cards that you buy and do different things with. And so, whole experience there. This is free to play also, so you can start with no money and start to earn cryptocurrency. And it is mobile, so you can play this from anywhere. So pretty cool game. Oh, also they have a deal with Warner Brother Music. So pretty they're doing stuff. They're doing stuff over there. All right, next up game, Axie Infinity. So this was the most popular game, I would say, in Web3 2 years ago. Since then, it's come down from its heyday a little bit. But there was something else that I wanted to share with Axie during this portion of things, because it's another game that I feel like a lot of us know. Everybody's kind of familiar with Axie. Right, Resident Normie, you're familiar with Axie.
Yeah.
See? Even the Resident Normie is familiar with Axie. All right, here's the article that I wanted to share. Axie Infinity users can now take loans against in-game assets. I think that's kind of sexy. It's like, you keep making me want to go back. I need to stake my land anyways, or whatever I'm supposed to do with it. I'm not earning to my max potential over there on Ronin, so I need to fix that. I've been doing that over the last month or so, like going in and fixing.
You got land on Axie, huh?
Yeah, I got land, man. I got land, and I got asset staking. I'm like,
I got land on Splinterlands, 9 plots.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I need to save up, buy some of this mana, and give me some metaverse land. Honestly, yeah.
Well, yeah, bro. You need some Decentraland land too.
Well, that's what I meant with the mana. Isn't the mana? Don't you need to buy it in mana?
No, you could pay with ETH on OpenSea.
Yeah. I thought you didn't need the mana. Okay. But shortening up this article here, I just thought it was really interesting. And this is a narrative that's been appearing more and more recently, which is using NFTs for collateral. Against whatever, basically choosing the price floor of the NFT or a range underneath that it might liquidate at, and then giving you some assets to play around with. So interesting here. This is a case of one of these projects coming to Ronin then, and I also thought that was interesting because so it's Metaland and Ronin Network first announced their partnership January 31st. But yeah, I also thought this was interesting just because if this is accessible on Ronin, then it means the Ronin chain is finally like building out its ecosystem more. Like more things are coming to Ronin. And so that's like something that I don't feel like should be overlooked in that case. I'm like, okay, well, if they're going to actually start building, like there's going to be like a lot more dApps and stuff coming to Ronin, and it just fills out and becomes an entire blockchain. Like, it's a blockchain, but you know what I mean? Like it's got all these apps. It'd be really interesting. And I wouldn't want to not pay attention to that entire party unfolding. So brought that over there.
Yeah, eventually you'll have to use Ron to pay for transactions on Axie Infinity. Isn't that what you guys were telling me a couple weeks back?
And it might already be the case. I haven't been again. I've just had these. Like, I really need to go check because some of the assets were like I had some of it in Ethereum and USDC in case like market went down. I was like, oh, so this will do its thing, and then then I had the other portion in like Ron or whatever once that started, and so like the native asset is just earning at like a high yield then, and then the ETH is earning at whatever ETH is like, not that bad. So I'm interested to see what happens. Like if I got anything worthwhile over there, sure won't be like a bunch, but if it's like $100 to just play around with on cheap Axies and stuff, I'm like, oh, that's what's up. That's how I see that type of stuff. Then the last game on this list, Illuvium, which they actually say here, which I had a what moment was it says open beta in Q1 of 2022. I feel like that's false. Have you played Illuvium?
Bro. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like that's all cat.
Right. I'm like, bro, I'm pretty sure you can't.
I've heard about it, but I've never been able to play it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, bro, it's not open beta. Like you need to have stuff. Like Yeah, okay.
Open to fucking privileged motherfuckers. That's what they meant right here.
Yeah, I felt like the mom on Friday, right? Okay.
I've been following Illuvium fairly close.
Right. I'm not like in the Discord reading all the announcements, but I'm like anytime I see something in Illuvium, I'm paying attention. So I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah, I have never actually seen any open anything. So what's that about?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Y'all capping. But Illuvium does look dope.
Some PvPs now.
Yep.
They're trying to sell us some PvP.
Hashtag rug pull. No, I'm just kidding.
And like at least not this early. This is the other thing. Like if things happen to change like recently, and it's like, oh, now you can get it. It at least was not Q1 2022. Maybe this meant to be 2023. I'm like, fam.
Or some shit.
I'm like, fam, no, that's like all the last year. I just like, oh, I'm just going. That looked like fun, y'all.
Nah. Yeah, we've talked about Illuvium several times, and nothing about.
I like Splinterlands being above Axie. I'm good with that.
I mean, anytime we look at a DAP radar in the list of games, Splinterlands is always one of the top games in general.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like what do they have in right? It's usually like number 1 or 2. I feel like it's Axie and Splinterlands go back and forth. And then we were seeing that game 9 Chronicles or whatever take the spot.
Do you guys pay attention to the gambling on there at all, or
what
on DAP radar?
On the blockchain in general?
I'd like to. I've been trying to get into some gambling, but I've been having some resistance lately. But I just
when you said gambling.
Yes, so there's the Holy Ones, which is an NFT project on Decentraland. They're basically a metaverse casino, and they're working on a new little gaming platform called Games on Chain. I think they're like 54th under gambling.
Yeah, in gambling recently, I believe I slept on Dice too much. The new Dice project on Arbitrum, which I'm like on this list. Oh, where is that? But I know it's somewhere. But yeah, I feel like I'm a little too slept on Dice. There's there's starting to be crop ups of new gambling platforms.
I would try some gambling on Arbitrum for sure.
Bro, like just the fact that
is that it?
I don't think that's it because it says Thundercore, so I'm not like believing it. Let me just hit Avalanche or Arbitrum, excuse me, and see if it pops open.
Yeah, the Games on Chain is on Polygon.
Yeah, let's see if we can find yours.
There it is.
I was wanting to gamble on some NBA games.
I mean, where did I find? I did find a blockchain application the other week though that did have something like that where you could gamble on like sports like around the world and stuff. It was like different soccer games, NBA games, whatever the heck. I'm pretty sure I saved that somewhere. Like I'm gonna look at you some other time just to look at you though, just because it was a really nice interface.
My favorite crypto casino of all time is still Wink, which is on Tron. That's the GOAT.
Does it still exist?
It does, 100%.
Okay.
Oh, right there,
I haven't seen
number
it in a while,
16.
but it's got to exist still.
I don't know, man.
16.
Oh, 16. My bad. Games on Chain. Okay, look at some of these images.
I bet you $5 it still exists.
Got you. I mean, $5 Wink still exists. I'm just remembering last time I went there, I felt like I had to pull out like a lot of funds.
I mean,
like I had time, but I'm pretty sure.
First of all, shouldn't have had a lot of funds on there. But
I mean, like enough to just like not like a crazy amount of funds, but like just to have like a constant bit of like it would just fund my Tron wallet, just like send me like little divs and whatever.
And what they made you withdraw or what? What do you mean?
I'm pretty sure like all like the ice and dice and whatever other token and whatever wing with that, like you had to like withdraw it for stuff. Like I'm pretty sure it was closing down. I wouldn't have just taken it out of a casino. I'm like, it's always money in the casino.
You can't close Wink. Bam.
It says here,
boy.
it says here, but
Still popping.
volume,
That's
balance,
the best, bro.
okay.
So 50% what? 50% what?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it for later. We're not gonna go into that.
He's like,
look at him. Look at him. Look at him doing it to me.
I'm over here salivating, like, I'm about to get back on there now.
Go in there, check it out. Now you gotta check out this dice, bro. I'm telling you, all this big money about to be made on Arbitrum. Like, let me find it. I need to find a decent Arbitrum NFT project. Be the first blue chip on Arbitrum. Like, that's what I need to do. And like in this Bitcoin NFT stuff, I know you've been about it, so I need to get on that.
The Bitcoin NFT stuff is interesting.
Yeah.
So I wanted to
go ahead.
I wanted to add that the games on chains got like a promotion where if you bet 25 Matic, 25 bets, 1 Matic each bet, you'll get the 25 Matic back plus keep whatever you win. So you like join the Discord and they'll help you out. It's like part of the testing launch. Promotion for like any of the new players. I mean, it's pretty fail safe for the most part.
We'll see what games it got. We'll have to see what games it got. I've been meaning to have, like, you gotta have a fellas night out at the casino one of these days. Anyways, I feel like it'd be fun.
Shit,
have some poker games and stuff. Play a little Rocket. You got like the Rocket takeoff games.
I have 2 ice poker wearables.
Fun, bro. I'm down. Let's do it. Hey, let's do it on stream though.
Put a little Rocket.
I have 2 ice poker wearables. I can delegate 2 of you, and you play ice poker for a night or something on Decentraland.
On Decentraland games.
Yeah, Decentral games.
I played some roulette over there one day.
All right, gentlemen. Gonna roll into our last little thing of the day. For the last, I decided to we're gonna do this whole like Dex's thing. We're gonna say that for later. So we're gonna go through the daily degen, wrap us up with some nice highlights through the week. This is a publication brought to you by Rectomedes on Twitter. Yes, Rectomedes also writes the daily degen. That is his URL or his username. I like it. Anyways, going through this thing, we got the top coin tickers right there, and then he's got the bubbles. I'm kind of going to skim past that part. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the juice of this daily degen. And if you want this, type in the daily degen and get it from Substack on Google. Like, come on, I'm giving you the gains. All right, it says top gains, and this is last 24 hours, obviously, since they wrote this. But we got a bunch of who knows what these tokens are. But they've been going off. Do you recognize any of these tokens, Bitfiend? I know you said you were kind of out of the game recently, but I thought they said Grifto for a second. I was like, bro, really? This is where we're at?
No. I mean, I don't know. Kratos.
Token Mac. I actually know that one. That's like an old school one.
I don't think I know any of that. I've never. I mean, I usually go to like the Pancake Swap pool to find some new shit or some staking. Look at trade vol or the total volume locked. But this. What is this?
This is from Coin. I can tell they're getting it from CoinGecko, and it's not on dark mode, so it looks eerie. But yeah, I don't know what these tokens. These tokens are
down 99% in a week.
Yeah. This is why I said it's old season right now. Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum goes up. The money cycles out of Bitcoin and Ethereum into alts. Alts pump, and look, they're pumping like a similar amount to the Bitcoin and Ethereum. But alts pump. Then the money drains out of alts, pumps into Bitcoin, maybe back into stables, and then you see like a flood out of the market. But it goes in those cycles. Like, I don't know, it's like a normal cycle. Yeah, top losers. Who cares? Actually, I mean, you should care. Like, this is
you should definitely care. Hold on.
You want to look at these?
Hold on.
No one cared about those other coins because no one knew what those things were. That was weird. But pay attention to Ori Chain. I feel like, did Deep Brain Chain get delisted off of some shit? I think it did. Anyway, definitely pay attention to Ori Chain.
Look, I'm about the Arbitrum tokens, bro.
It being down 22% screams opportunity to me.
Talking
I
about
don't
Grail?
know about those other tokens though. Hacking, maybe I've heard of that one.
You talking about Grail?
No, I was talking about Ori Chain. It's an AI token.
AIs. I wonder how many of these are. I don't know. All right. Yeah, more. I know Radiant's down. I think they're like Omni-chain something. So interesting. Moving down. We got some ZK fun here. ZKX is the first decentralized self-custody perpetual futures exchange on Starknet. So I believe actually Immutable X runs on like Starknet, right? Or Starkware. It's one of the Starks.
I think something like that.
It's one of the Starks. There's a bunch of Starks, bro, in crypto,
Tony
and
Stark.
I need to clarify what the difference between all these different Stark things are. But yeah, okay. So probably do with NFTs. NFT lore community. They're planning their testnet release for March 14th and have a gamified NFT lore community incentive program as part of the lead up to their launch. I mean, looks cool. I don't know what it does. You know, I'm gonna need to see what it does. I'm not that type of NFT DJ. I don't just jump in on NFT projects. I wish I did. It's probably more profitable. Biggest TVL movers. Hate to see it, right? Tron at number 2. We're not even talking about Ethereum. Tron at number 2. BSC, Arbitrum. Tron is always moving money. It's all about the there's a lot of stable coins on Tron. That's really why. There's a lot of stable coins. And I guess like for big money to move certain amounts and get like certain percentages, like Tron is kind of the move. Thus I hear from the millionaire chain. But yeah, Arbitrum, Polygon, Avalanche, Optimism, Phantom coming up out the pack. Kronos mixing, surviving somehow. Look at Solana down there at 12. Look at you. Behind DeFi chain. Who are they? Bigger than you, that's who. Oh my goodness. Oops. TVL. It's okay. We looked at the top 10 on TVL already over there. See if there's anything else new that's kind of interesting in this. I believe this one was something that caught my eye earlier. Something new on Arbitrum called Bluefin. So I forget, it's like decent. Yeah, it's perpetual. Everything is perpetuals these days, aka these like leverage changes and stuff. But decentralized perpetuals with blazing fast settlement backed by Polychain. Look, I might look into it just because if I'm going to be putting in a trade or something like that, there was another one recently came out like MUX or MUX. Like some of these will give you airdrops.
I heard of that one. And it went crazy, didn't it?
Yeah, because everything's building off of GMX. But like, so some of them will give you airdrops and stuff like that if you interact with their platforms. Like since they're so early, they haven't released their token yet or something. So it's just an opportunity to maybe make some money, and then they might also do things like pay for part of your fees or like lower fees for a certain amount of time. So those are things to consider with some of these newer projects like that. Always want to do your due diligence and make sure things are hinky dinky dory and safe and whatnot. But yeah, point that out there. Ironfish, which is didn't look into this one too much more, but thought it was interesting. They were kind of taking this look from Curve a little bit, in DeFi at least. Usually that's to do with Curve, so probably something to do with stable coins there. That one looked boring. Cosmos ecosystem. Oh, here was another casino that I want to talk about. Shuffle. Future of crypto betting. Also, I don't know what that means. Introducing Shuffle.com, all new crypto casino built from the ground up to take on the best in the industry. I can't remember if it said Shuffle was live or not yet. They kind of just, this is, introduction, but something worth paying attention to while we talk about these casinos. Stablecoin yields. This is the sexy of it. Who knew there were so many stable coins around where you could get yield like this? Am I right, guys? Am I right? No, seriously, when you pay attention, it kind of pays off. Top yields here, 44% on stable coins. Those are dual pairs, but then you also have these solid pairs on IPOR, which is only on Ethereum for IPOR. But that's 32% on DAI, USDC, and USDT.
IPOR.
It's actually banging. It's actually banging.
Know if I showed you guys IPOR. I thought I did, but IPOR was one of the tokens that I seen a thread about it, and it's wild. It's like you can trade interest rates, or you can trade interest rates. So if you have a fixed interest rate, so say you borrow something from you're staking on Curve or something, you're borrowing, and your interest rate is fixed. but you want to get a static interest rate, which I don't know exactly why you'd want to do that, but sometimes when you have a fixed interest rate that's too high, you might want to get a lower interest rate, so you might be able to swap it with someone, which is wild to me. But apparently in TradeFi, it's one of the biggest markets, so I think iPoor is going to do well. I had got into it like a couple weeks back, and it's been trending pretty well. It's on a pretty good dip right now. Actually,
you just mean
how much do you guys have like staking?
I don't stake on
I mean,
iPoor.
Throw a bunch of money, or
I just bought the token.
You conservative with it?
In general in DeFi, or what do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking like 44% with a stable coin. Are you jumping in that?
I mean, that sounds sexy. Like, if I
Right?
was just chilling with stables right now, and that would be something. I'm trying to like. This is the trouble right now with the market, and I'm trying to get back to where I was at. There we go. This is the trouble with the market right now. It's just that it's in this weird fluctuation zone where I jumped out into stable coins like early 2022, and have just been mostly in stable coins. Still earning with a few pairs that I put together and figured, this will work out. I figure things are gonna go down, so still earning with some pairs, but mostly in stable coins. And with this weird fluctuation, I'm not sure if it's like time to like move more into those assets individually. Like if they're just going up, like, kind of want more Bitcoin, want more Litecoin, want more Ethereum, want more, one more DOT, one more Avalanche, one more Link, one more Matic. So I'm like, but at the same time, I'm like, is this the time to buy, or is this the time to like hold and wait a little bit? Now I know I could just stake it over here and I could be earning some type of percentage or whatever, but just because it's on Ethereum, I know I'm going to take some loss to the fees on ETH specifically, and those fee losses could be like $40-$50 or something like that on the low, right? Just to stake this cash there, which means I need maybe 1 month, 2 months or something like that to recoup that. If I'm not putting a whole bunch in there, and if I need that much time to recoup that money, the market, like again, the market could just take off on me, and I, would have obviously probably at some point in time seen that just stack up on some Link or something and let that boy go like up 2-3x or something. So that's the only thing that's keeping me out of them right now. I feel like I don't know, a lot of things that I learned about stablecoins right now in the market, and the focus that I've been putting on them throughout all of 2022 and into 2023 will really be utilized in the next bear markets coming. Like figuring out some of these platforms, the best techniques and stuff like that they use, and just where to go with a lot of the stable coins. Because right now, a lot of, I'm just like, it's hard for me to put them to work on Ethereum. I guess that's part of it. Hard for me to put them to work on Ethereum. Because other platforms, like I'm looking at the other ones, I'm more likely to go risky on one of these other ones. If it's like a straight up solid one, like I like LUSD and stuff like that. So if I see anything like that on like an Arbitrum or Optimism or something like that, where I'm not going to take this big loss for putting them to work, I'm just in there. But in general, it's sexy to me. This looks good. This looks.
I think it's interesting as well. I'm gonna put my backs a little bit more. That iPoor has some of the highest TVL on some of these stablecoin yields. Which I'm trying to figure out if it's like
how you got all that. How you got all that TVL and that big yield? Like, what?
Bruh, yeah, what the fuck?
What you doing over there? Yeah, worth diving into. I might have to come back next week and do a deep dive on iPoor.
I have a thread that I need to share. I have a couple threads that I was wanting to read tonight, hopefully, but I need to find the one about iPoor so that I can explain it better, because I know I'm not explaining it as well as I need to.
But yeah, this USDC on Velodrome, like the Velodrome ones, are like 30-something%. Yeah. It's like the most trusted platform on Optimism. So I'm like, yeah, probably in there. But let's go on. Quick analysis of the week. Oh, here was some stuff worth that just tickled me a little bit. So Fed Jerome Chair expects 2023 to be a year of significant decline in inflation. I already said that earlier, and or inflation, excuse me, not deflation, decline in inflation. Said that earlier, but yeah, again, I think that's more bullish for the market. and current. Soft landing and disinflation are the new transitory. We always need to have buzzwords. The Fed uses this. It's quite the one. Where was it? It was proof of stake, pal. There's just like this long section of J Powell means. Here it was. It was J Powell, J proof of work, transition to proof of stake, almost complete. Send it all very high soon. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of like my opinion. Where I'm like, I don't know, man. Any other goodies? Yeah, just this interesting scenario from analysts. If you haven't been listening to any analysts recently, we have this golden cross forming on the daily. So generally a bullish pattern.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, but then we have this on the weekly. There's a death cross, and it's the first time that we've had this weird scenario where there's a golden cross on the daily and a death cross on the weekly, and people are like, "Yeah, so what do it mean?"
Dangerous territory.
Yeah, and that's again like that's like it's got me like in this weird spot. Where I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna go up or if we're gonna go down, but you need to play everything safe right now because interesting. Like bottom signal, who knows? Who knows?
I think we're gonna go up and then we're gonna go down and then we're gonna go up again.
That's what I'm kind of thinking.
A little bit more.
I'm kind of thinking that
essentially, I think we're going sideways between like 16 and 26 for a while. To be honest.
Yeah.
Big jump though.
That feels right. I could see us like topping out at like 28 or 27 or something like that for Bitcoin, but like 26 seems more realistic. But I'm like crazy.
I just think it's too early, but I could be wrong. I mean, companies aren't stopping. They're not slowing down at all.
See, I just feel like if it reaches 26, I'm going to do that so quickly.
Scaring the retail investors out so that they can just buy it all up.
Yeah.
You got to realize at the end of the day, there's 21 million Bitcoins. How many millionaires are there? I'm pretty sure there's like more millionaires.
Yeah, there's more millionaires than there are Bitcoin. So yeah, if every millionaire wants a Bitcoin,
so they all decided we're gonna buy a Bitcoin. Like, what is it? Like, 80% of them are already fucked. They're not gonna be able to get their hands on one because institutions have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of them already.
Yeah. This world we live. This world we live. I was watching February.
It's a beautiful world when you're in the right place at the right time.
There. It's like that right time. Time in the market versus timing the market. Just wanted to see if there's anything else on this list worth sharing with you guys. A huge amount of ETH from 3 million to 3 million.
People ask me all the time, how are you doing, man? Cryptos are crashing. I'm like, I'm still green. What do you mean?
Yeah, seriously.
I can't lose at this point. Even then, like, I see the future in it. I don't care if it crashes. I love it when it crashes because that means I can buy more cheap.
Yeah, it's like, yo, shit. That's like it crashing was honestly one of the things that was like in 2022 was like
people I'm like maybe the thing's gonna happen. It's like, of course, it's not gonna be as bad. It's not gonna go back to 3,800.
See,
it'll crash.
The 2022 downward spiral was just where I was like, it's accumulation time. Like I want to accumulate things on I'll DCA, but I'll DCA more than I was able to DCA before, and just
these days I can only DCA up.
Yeah. So L's market.
How can I buy mana at 9 cents? Can't. How do I wait for that dip?
This is what you got to do. You got to buy mana.
How can I buy ETH at $1?
This is what you got. This is how you buy mana for 9 cents. Okay. Buy mana right now. You wait for it to go up like 100, 200%. And then you sell like half of it. And then you got the other half of it for free, basically. That's what I do all the time. It's just buy something, wait for it to go up 100%, and sell half of it. And then you have you got your money back that you spent on it, and then you have all these other extra tokens that you got for free, and then you just wait for those motherfuckers to go up, and then it's free. It's
That's how you need to do it.
Mana. Even better than 9-cent mana. It's free mana.
I mean, it's typically what I do with DeFi and stuff, where it's like, you know, I feel like in trading, like you're mentioning, you have to wait for the token to move that much. But DeFi, you get into a platform day one or something like that when the APYs are crazy, regardless to how, like, it could be a crazy, serious platform. If you get in early enough, you're still going to experience really high APYs for maybe just 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. But if they're promising you more than like 1 or 2% a day, and you're there early, like you're hanging out for a month. And like, then what do you have? You have 50% of what you already had. And if you went hard with like assets that you actually like, Ethereum and USDC, straight up stable coins most of the time, I'm just like, yeah, USDC and USDT, 2 stable coins. I'm keeping it in stable coins. And you're just earning multiple percents a day. Then like, yeah, you can take it out or whatever. You're dealing with house money. Like, it's like you just earn the money from like nothing. And do what you want with it. Sell off, you know, you're just in profit the entire time. There's like no time when you're not in profit. So I don't know. When people don't do those things, I'm like, hear you guys, but profit is profit. I don't know, man. Profit is profit. Profit is profit. But yeah, there's so many different ways you can earn in crypto. It's crazy, folks. Which is why we do things like this, because the more you know, the more you know. I wanted to wrap up today's show, gentlemen. I want to wrap us up. I know we're going to do this whole index thing. Feel free to throw out an index token, you know, while we go through this last portion. If you want to think of an index token that we should we'll decide it in the group, and maybe we start next week with our new index token. But yeah, going to go back around after today. So we'll start with Mr. Bitfiend. Bitfiend, how are you feeling about the market and after the show today? What's your take? What are you feeling about things moving forward today and moving forward? Yeah.
I love the market. You got to accumulate a little bit here and there. $20 a week every time.
Yeah.
Treat it as a 7-year bag. You know, what you buy today, you hold for 7 years. You're going to be happy.
Truly. I mean, why is it advice? Because I feel like a lot of people get hung up on like, oh, I got to throw in all this money. And it's like, bro, you could be throwing in $10. If you threw in $10 a week in something like a Matic or like whatever, Phantom recently, like these things, they doubled their prices. And already like what's happening in a year's time? It's like it's up 5 times or whatever. It's like, dude, you just get way more money.
If I had taken $5,000 and bought 5,000 Ethereum when it was $1 by taking out a loan, I'd be really happy right now. But if I had bought $20 a week worth of Ethereum, I'd be really fucking happy right now. So
yeah,
$20 a week, it's going to go a long way, especially when you don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need $20 a week.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it's one meal.
Eat
Or
ramen
something,
for 3 days, you know?
For real.
And you'll be like, okay, me eating ramen for 3 days made me a millionaire.
Satoshi's like, I like fine ramen
out there.
They got some gourmet ramen out there. Y'all need to check out.
All right, thank you, Bitfiend. That was very insightful and just true wisdom from an OG. Satoshi, how you feeling?
I'm still pretty bullish. I mean,
Ethereum's dropped like $20 during the show.
Yeah, that's fun for Ethereum. It'll come back.
I wish I was in a trade.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of fun stuff going on in the market. There's a lot of interesting stuff. I don't see, like, it's gonna have to be something ridiculous like to happen for us to like fall. Like,
for the market to drop out. Yeah, like what's it? What's that gonna be? Right?
I think it could be like maybe Ukraine,
because otherwise things are just sailing. It's like
war.
Like, you got to really send things back. Like, I don't think people realize how much crypto is up right now, and it's like,
I don't think people realize what we went through last year. Like, we were getting fucking wrecked last year, constantly. Everything was getting liquidated. everyone was over leveraged. Everyone was losing their money. Everyone was
things
getting
went down a
rugged.
lot. People like not like
went-
for people to be like
it
it's gonna
went-
keep going down. Like I'm like, bro, like to unprecedented 300% levels for things. Like, what are y'all talking about at this point? Like, no, there needs to be some up and then back down.
With all the Bitcoin that's being like all the outflows, like I don't feel like the Bitcoin's there. Like, I don't think that there's not enough Bitcoin on the exchanges for it to just like. Of course, there's market makers, but it's just like I would need to see a lot of Bitcoin to go back on exchanges before I would believe that we're getting ready to get like a big ass drop.
Yeah, interesting.
That's a big thing too.
Yeah, you know,
They've already predicted
what happened
this at one point. You won't be able to get Bitcoin on an exchange.
I think that
you
we
might not
should
even
talk
be able to get it on a DeFi exchange.
I could imagine like in a world where like it's just like already spoken for, basically. Like, yeah, somebody's gonna be mining it, and it's already that's you're on a wait list to get that Bitcoin, sir.
So I think we should talk about this Uniswap governance vote that's been going on. Did you get to look into that at all, Smurf?
I did not. Just briefly, just seeing that they've been doing like a lot of voting about just changing up the way their governance works.
I'm about to hijack y'all for a second. I shared my screen. So Uniswap sees what's going on BNB, and they're saying they want to get in on that. So they want to try to they want to put Uniswap on BNB chain. Mm-hmm. They have governance, so they need to vote on it. So I'll just kind of read this thread to show y'all what's kind of the drama that's been going on. So it says, you may have heard about the beef between A16Z and Jump. Uniswap is trying to deploy to BNB chain, but which bridge should they use? Here's a short explainer on what exactly is going on and why it matters. So Uniswap v3 uses business source licenses, restricting internal use of code. Basically, it's like they have a developer who can't deploy another version of Uniswap on another protocol, and his license is like his NDA is up, and he's going to be able to fork or put it on different chains. So it says, what happens if Uniswap v3 enters? If Uniswap v3 remains Ethereum native, PancakeSwap v3 would be quite the development. In order to prevent this from happening, Uniswap itself is taking the initiative to port contracts functionality over to BNB chain. But first, the Uniswap DAO needs to choose a bridge for on-chain messaging. Two big contenders are Wormhole, which I haven't used, and Layer 0, which we've talked about a little. I think we've talked about Stargate on here a couple times, but Layer 0 is I've used it a couple times. I think the Pancake Aptos bridge uses Layer 0. So Jump, who's a VC, I believe, Jump owns Searchus1, the company that helped develop Wormhole. A16Z co-led Layer 0's $1 billion investment round alongside FTX Ventures and Sequoia. So when they started voting, it's like the initial DAO vote was won by Wormhole with a fairly wide margin of 11 million votes. Prominent voters supporting Wormhole included Consensus, GFX Labs, and Agent HQ. Voters for Layer 0 included societies at Stanford, Michigan, both receiving delegations from A16Z. And then A16Z sent this like message that they admitted that for some reason the way that they hold their tokens didn't allow them to use their 15 million uni to vote. And they were like, please just assume that we would vote for Layer 0. And it's like, y'all fucked up big time right here. Y'all cost yourself a lot of money with this one, bro. Like, what the fuck did y'all think was going on? So anyway, the Uniswap Foundation Executive Director Delvin Wash posted that Uniswap would move forward with the initial votes. This means the A16Z's 15 million votes were not counted. Interestingly, this A16 address is the holder of the largest number of voting uni tokens on chain. So they had the most tokens in one wallet, I think, and they just boofed and didn't vote. I assume it's because they have some type of like multi-sig wallet or something.
Yeah, multi-sig.
Maybe they couldn't get
locked for investment.
Maybe they couldn't get one of their signature holders, or more than enough of them to vote. Which is interesting. So as a result, Porter Smith, a partner of A16Z, highlighted Wormhole's prior vulnerability. So basically, it was like, well, Wormhole kind of sucks, and basically they were like, A16 is gonna basically oppose the entire move over to BNB chain since Layer 0 was not chosen. So they're like, we're taking our ball and going home since you're not going to use Layer 0. So the DAO, they had to hold like because it's like, you vote once and then you have to vote. The vote has to pass a couple times to go through. And so A16, like, I guess they got access to their wall and they voted against, but you can see that there were more votes for Wormhole, or no, for deploying over to BNB chain. And then there's just like some kind of back and forth, and some looking into like where all the Uniswap tokens are. Let's see. I think that's basically it. So it's just like a bunch of drama with some DAO governance voting that is spilling over, and people are like, people are basically like, y'all ruined it for yourself, and people are seeing that, there's like certain entities have way too much uni, like it's almost like it's not really that decentralized because certain people have too much voting power. So I think that's very interesting. There's a lot of moving parts to that. All of us know what Uniswap is. We've used it a lot.
You're breaking up a little bit. I'm going to pause for a second. See if it fixes. We did get the point. It's fortunate you broke up at the very end there. We're waiting for your picture to unfreeze. Now he's in another position.
Yeah, now he's all the way frozen.
All the way frozen now. Yeah. All right. So yeah. Satoshi took us into it.
My bad. I had to take y'all through it, man, real quick to let y'all know the drama that was going on.
Yeah. So interesting stuff. Very much reminds me of like the curve wars and the battles to determine what pools over there get basically more profit, get better incentives. They are more of the curve tokens. So interesting there. Yeah, Infinite.
Which one? The market or
just like feelings of the markets.
Okay. This is what it feels like, all right? Because like I'm gonna stick by our guns, and I'm still a bear, but it's hard, when everybody's like, when the one dude in the room is like, there's a famine going on, and everybody else is like sitting there eating gourmet dinners and shit, and I'm like, there's people out there starving, and you're like, are they? And it's like how it feels, and you really start questioning it, but I still kind of feel like enough is wrong, that there's like a fix, but like I keep hearing you, like, but it definitely feels that way, it's just like, look, we eat here. I'm like, yeah, I know, and you're probably gonna keep eating, but something's got to change, right? And so yeah, I don't know, and that's kind of the energy.
Feel ya. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's tough. Again, like I know Biffing got excited when I said it earlier, but it's like it's all about time in the market versus timing the market. I feel like it's super important to have some assets that you actually like or care about in like long term, and then figuring out how you can earn something with those assets. Like that's how you win the game. I think I'm like, if you choose a good asset and it's just earning you something, like even if that like totally goes down at some point, like if you're diversifying with the yields that it's giving you, like it's really hard to lose at that point, like to not make some type of profit. So yeah, and all that just comes from like time. As long as you're in the market in some capacity, you end up catching both sides, which is why DCA is such a boring yet strong way of investing. On that, I will let us conclude. Did I get my opinion? Yeah,
No.
I'm gonna pretty much no. I am I'm very much like the golden the chart setup that people are like seeing and like talking about recently. I'm like, I kind of been that way, where I'm like, yeah, I can see it short term being bullish. I think that'll continue a little bit, but then I think there needs to be a pullback, and I think we've already seen a decent amount of bullish momentum. But I think there needs to be like a blow off top type of situation. Like it gets like crazy and like euphoric, and then we go down, and it's like it's fun for like the shorters, people to short again or something for a while. Because at this point, we can go down to like 16,000, and it still wouldn't be touching like 15. It's like we can go down so far and still be up. It's like it's a lot. It'd be like a big drop. Ethereum can drop $400 right now and still be like up compared to like like it's like things can really move right now from how much they've gone up. So yeah, again, I think it's gonna be like a blow off top situation, but then go down and then after that, I see a strong rally because I feel like a lot of people that are currently in the market for these situations are veterans. Like you're either institution money that's entered the market, or your crypto people that have like experienced these cycles and stuff like that. There's not a whole lot of people that are actually like in market right now, I feel like, that are just brand new to the game and they're the type of person that would enter right now in the market and not be educating themselves about market cycles. I don't think we're attracting those type of people that don't do that level of research right now. So that's my take on things. Retail will, of course, jump in after when the blow up top happens and become extra liquidity again. But
retail
that
going wild on stocks right now. Fucking Bed Bath and Beyond went up like 120% yesterday in one day. Like
stop.
AMC went up like 82% in January, and all these hedge funds are trying to cover their shorts and like cancel their shorts and shit because they don't want to lose a couple $1 million over the next couple months. Very interesting shit going on.
Interessante. But yeah, on that, guys, we're gonna wrap up today's show. This has been another episode of Trustless Degens, the show where we talk about all things happening on the blockchain. It's pretty much insert buzzword here. This is every Wednesday, so we'll see you guys next time.
Don't forget to buy the dip.
Yes.
Buy the fucking dip.
Buy the fucking dip.